The way I see this playing out is we have some optimists and we have some...
Mostly what we're doing is some modernization and moving things around.
This is an Asian Studies podcast.
Today's Alumni Spotlight is on Scott LaFoy. Scott graduated from Georgetown in 2012 with a degree in government, a minor in Japanese, and a certificate in Asian Studies. He spent 2 months in the summer of 2012 in Yanji, Jilin, China, studying North Korean dialect Korean, and visited North Korea twice during that time.
I went with an organization called the East-West Coalition, or EWC. They're an educational group run out of Canada that has educational programs in Yanji, Jilin, China, dealing with North Korea, and on-the-ground educational exchanges with North Korea. And basically, this is the first year they were running the program and allowed Westerners in general, not just Americans, we had a couple Europeans and Canadians, go to Yanji, China to study, and during that time take several trips inside North Korea and get, technically we still would be on official government tours, but because EWC has a very good relationship right now with the government, you get kind of better tours than a lot of people would get, or non-standard tours for Americans at least, and allow us to see parts of the country most Americans don't get to see, such as the Northeast provinces. It was very interesting to go in and see, especially I'd say the cities and infrastructure were interesting to see. We had very limited interaction with the actual populations because we were on a government-sanctioned tour and we're Americans, so they're very skeptical of us. But it was very interesting to see how people, in what capacities we could, how people were living and going about their daily lives. Basically just how the country would seem from the ground as opposed to from books like most Americans will have to get their information from it. It was just very interesting to get to interact with the country itself and the people who spoke English there, talking to them about, politically neutral subjects, but talking to them would be very interesting. It's important to, especially because I do North Korea things, it's important to not forget that everyone involved in the political processes and governments and interactions between the two countries all have their own lives and sets of interests, and they're all trying to get things to work out for the best. And if there's frequently not an intentionally antagonistic relationship that's just inherently popping up between two peoples. And it's important to remember that there's just normal people on the other side who have been maybe raised differently or educated differently, but you still have to interact with them, and there's still normal people who are just trying to get their lives set up in a nice way for them. And I think that's really important to remember, especially for the political situation for, Korea.
For the Asian Studies Department at Georgetown University, this has been an Asian Studies Special Report. To find more podcasts like this one, log on to our website at asianstudies.georgetown.edu, where you can learn about our academic programs and upcoming events on campus.